Just a minute. Okay. So, if you remember, in the last lecture, we were trying to calculate the propagator for the quantum harmonic oscillator in one dimension, in one spatial dimension. So let us continue, let us finish up the calculation today. And the point that we reached was the following. So we were calculating this thing, QFT, QY0. So this is the propagator. And we found that this is equal to limit epsilon tending to 0, n tending to infinity, some normalization constant which I call A now to avoid confusion with this capital N, which basically denotes the number of time slices. The number of intervals, time intervals, and this was SC, and then we had integral minus infinity plus infinity dA1 to dAn, and then we have the integrand, which is In by 2h bar In capital T by 4h bar, then summation n is equal to 0 n minus 1. N is equal to, I think, 1. So this was 1 to n minus 1. And then we had n by t whole square minus omega square. And then we had an square. So this was the expression that we got after evaluating this propagator. And now we can see that this thing is basically a product of n minus 1 integral. So this will be n minus 1. dA n minus 1. dA1 to dN minus 1. So there are n minus 1 integrals, and each of them are decoupled from each other. And therefore, I will just write down, in the previous lecture we did this calculation. So this will be just a product of all these integrals, and so you do just one integral, and the result will be a product of n minus 1 such things. And if you do the computation, this is basically a Gaussian integral. Then we landed up with the following result. So this is equal to, so let's just write it over here. So this is limit epsilon tending to 0, n tending to infinity, some constant e to the power of I by h bar SC in product. This was n is equal to 1 to n minus 1. N pi by t whole inverse 1 minus omega t by n pi whole square to the power of minus half. So after doing these quadratic integrals, which are basically very similar, they're basically like Gaussian integrals excepting this factor of I, but we have learned how to do these kind of integrals in an earlier lecture. So your result will be this. So in the last class we landed up to this result. Now what you can do is, this thing is nothing but, this is a product of this part is basically this multiplied by this, and then you have a product of from n is equal to 1 to n minus 1. So what you can do is you can just separate this term out. So you can write this full thing as a product of this multiplied by product of this. So this you can do. And then what you can do is you can dump this factor in this constant a. So if you do that, then once again you will have limit epsilon going to 0, n tending to infinity, and this will be some a of tilde where you have dumped this factor in this constant a. Then you have e to the power of I by h bar s classical, and then we have n is equal to 1 to capital N minus 1, 1 minus omega t by n by whole square to the power of minus 1. This is what we have. Now we know that we have a very important identity here. The identity, I will write it on top. Identity is the following: limit n tending to infinity. So we shall exploit this limit now. Limit n tending to infinity. This is of this product n is equal to 1 to capital N minus 1, 1 minus omega t by n pi whole square. This is basically sine omega t by omega t. So you have this result. This is basically, I think this is the Euler's identity. You can check it. I think I'm not wrong. This is Euler's identity. So if you take this limit of this product, so this will be sine omega t by omega t. So you have a to the power of minus half over here. So this will be, in this limit, this will be basically omega t by sine omega t to the power of half. Okay. So ultimately what we have is that this is equal to this constant a tilde e to the power of I by h bar is classical, and then we have omega t by sine omega t square. This is what we have. And of course, you can calculate what SC is, the classical action. For that, it is simple to calculate. So I actually gave you the result when I gave you the result earlier when I showed the connection between statistical mechanics and quantum theory. I calculated the partition function, right? You remember we calculated the partition function for the harmonic oscillator in two different ways. One from the standard way in which we calculate in statistical mechanics by using the fact that partition function is trace of e to the power of minus beta h hat. So from there we calculated the thing, and then we calculated the partition function from using the path integral technique. So there we had written the expression for S classical for the harmonic oscillator. So I leave it as an exercise for you to calculate, to verify that S classical. So this I won't do in this discussion. So please calculate, please check whether you get the expression that I wrote in the earlier lecture. Please verify that result for S classical for the harmonic oscillator. So the way you proceed is that you take the classical equation of motion for the harmonic oscillator, then you solve the equation of motion, and you impose the initial conditions that at time t is equal to 0, q is qi, and at time t is equal to capital T, Q is QF. These are your boundary conditions, right? So when you solve the harmonic oscillator differential equation, it is a second order differential equation in time. So there will be two arbitrary constants, and these two arbitrary constants of integration will be fixed by these two boundary conditions. Okay, so you can get the full classical trajectory. So you can get QC. Now what you do is QC is a function of time t. So now what you do is you plug that QC in the action. You know the action for the harmonic oscillator. It is integral 0 to t dt of half m q dot square minus half m omega square q square, function of t. So in order to compute the classical action SC, what you do is SC is basically equal to integral 0 to t half m q c dot square. So you put in the classical value, the classical trajectory there, minus half m omega square q c square, integral, this is the integrand dt. So you put in the value of qc and qc dot, which you have calculated, and then you do the integration, you will get the value of the classical action. Is it clear? So please do it as an exercise at home. So we know this value, we know what this is, but so now the full computation is complete. We have calculated everything. The only thing that is left now is to evaluate this constant A tilde. We need to know the value of this constant A tilde. But how do we do that? It's simple. You can do it quite easily. What we do is the following. We take the omega tending to 0 limit. So in the omega tending to 0 limit, the harmonic oscillator should go to the free particle, right? Omega is the frequency of the harmonic oscillator. So in the omega 0 limit, the harmonic oscillator goes to the free particle, and for the free particle, we know what the result for the propagator is. The result is m by 2 pi I h bar capital T square root into e to the power of I m by 2 h bar qf minus qi by t whole square. I think wait. So this is the result. Im by 2h bar capital T qf minus qi whole square. Okay. So this is the result for the free particle. Now what you notice from here is the following. You can easily check that the classical action for the harmonic oscillator that you have obtained, if you take the omega going to 0 limit, for the classical action, this will boil down to this factor. You will get this factor. I have already given you the result for the classical action, so just plug in omega equal to 0 there, you will get this. You will get the free particle factor, e to the power of I something. This is for the free particle. And in the omega 0 limit, you see that this is 1, right? This is 1. This is the standard sine theta by theta limit, theta going to 0 limit. So that is 1. So this factor is not there. This factor has gone to this. So what is left is only this factor. So you can immediately fix what A tilde is. This implies that A tilde is nothing but m by 2 pi I h bar t square. So you fix this value, the value of the constant A tilde gets fixed from the free particle limit, from the omega tending to 0 limit. So this becomes this. And therefore now you just put it over here, A tilde here. And what we shall get is this t that you have, this t will cancel with this t. And therefore we will have m omega by 2 pi I h bar sine omega t square root into e to the power of I h bar is classical. So you just check that this was the expression that I gave you when the expression for the propagator for the harmonic oscillator that I have written down earlier in order to calculate the partition function for the harmonic oscillator, quantum harmonic oscillator. This was the expression. With SC I have already given it, so I am not writing it anymore, but you should definitely verify that value yourself. I have told you how to do it. So this completes, so this calculation, so this now completes the calculation for the propagator of the quantum harmonic oscillator in one spatial dimension. Is it okay? Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay. So what I have left is you just verify whether you get this value of the classical action. So now what we shall do is, since we have already got the value of the quantum harmonic oscillator, we have got the value of the propagator for the quantum harmonic oscillator, now we shall try to find out the ground state energy and the ground state wave function from this propagator. Because ultimately you should be able to solve for the ground state energy and the ground state wave function. You should be able to find out what these are, and we shall do it now. So let me just write the expression that we have got. This is m omega by 2 phi I h bar sine omega t square root into e to the power of I by h bar. So let me just write this also. This is basically I h bar m omega by sine omega t sine omega t cosine omega t minus 1 So in this case, this will be just a minute. So what I have done is I will write down the entire expression. Just give me one moment. I have written it earlier for you. Get the expression for the partition function. Yes, this is basically, you will get this factor, but now what we shall have is m omega by I h bar by 2 sine omega t. So you will have a factor of 2 here, and then we will have qy square plus qf square cos omega t minus 2qy. So this is the expression for the propagator. So this is the classical action that I have written down for you when I calculated the partition function. So this is the entire expression, the full expression for the propagator of the harmonic oscillator. We shall proceed from here. What we shall now do is set this qf to q and qi to q. So what we now have is q comma t, q comma 0. So this is what we want to calculate. So this is equal to m omega by 2 pi I h bar sine omega t e to the power of. So when qi and qf are both equal to q, so this will give a factor of 2q square, and you have a factor of 2 over here. This is also q square. This 2 can be taken common, and this 2 will cancel this 2. So we will have e to the power of I by h bar omega n omega by sine of omega t times cos omega t minus 1 q square. So this is what we have. Okay? And now what we shall do is, we shall set this capital T to minus I beta h bar. So this is this capital T over here, this is the result for the propagator in real time. But now we shall go to imaginary time. We shall use the formalism of imaginary time that we have developed earlier. Imaginary time formalism. So we shall set T is equal to minus I beta h bar, where beta is basically 1 by kBt. Okay. So this therefore becomes q comma minus I beta h bar. So now this, okay, this is a bad notation. This is capital T, this is not temperature, this is the time interval, the full time, and this T is temperature. So you should be a little bit careful. But in any case, we are setting T, capital T, this time interval, to be equal to minus I beta h bar. So now we are making this capital T complex. Beta is real, h bar is reduced Planck's constant, h by 2 pi. And so this full thing is a real number, and you have a complex number here. Therefore, now here this capital T is complex, and this beta is 1 by kBt. Kb is Boltzmann constant. This is temperature. This is not the time interval, please. So you should be careful about the notation. So now, so if you have any confusion, then you can make this tau, or make this tau and call this tau as temperature, whatever you feel like. So when we set T is equal to minus I beta h bar, you get this expression for the, this is your propagator, and what you do is you just set capital T is equal to this thing minus I beta h bar in this expression. So this will give us m omega by 2 pi I h bar sine omega minus I beta h bar. To the power of I h bar. This expression, actually we have done this calculation earlier when we calculated the partition function. Minus I beta h bar omega, then we have cosine of minus I beta h bar omega minus 1. This is what we have. And you can simplify this. We have done this simplification earlier. You can just go to the earlier calculation and see what we have done. Then what this will become is, it will boil down to this I will not be there anymore, and what you will have is this will become sine of beta h bar omega. So this is one thing, and here also what you will have is minus on the h bar will become sine beta h bar omega, and this will become cosine beta h bar omega minus 1 q square. This will be your result. When you simplify this, I have done the simplification earlier, so you get this. Is it clear? This is quite simple. So now what you do is, can write this as, now this is just a matter of simple algebraic manipulations. What you can do is you can m omega by pi, just factor it out, and then we have 1 divided by 2 e to the power of beta h bar omega minus e to the power of minus beta h bar omega by 2. So this 2 will cancel, and you will have a square root. We have a square root here. And similarly, what you do is you do the same thing here also. Just a minute. Just a minute. বলো। আচ্ছা, আমি 214 তে আছি, ওকে 214 তে আসতে বলো। 214 ক্লাসরুমে আমি ক্লাস নিচ্ছি, ওখানে এসে আমাকে দিয়ে যেতে বলো। ওকে, ঠিক আছে। এক সেকেন্ড।
Sir,
I'm coming to you. Yes, please. বলো।
that will be sine hyperbolic beta h cross omega that you have put.
Which one? This will be. You are correct.
Yes, there will be hyperbolic.
This will be sine hyperbolic. Correct. Thank you. This will be sine hyperbolic. This will be sine hyperbolic. This will be cos hyperbolic. Thank you very much. You are absolutely correct. So this is the result, sine omega t and cosine omega t. Now when you go to imaginary time, capital T is equal to minus I beta h bar omega. This, when you simplify this sine, it will become sine hyperbolic, and then you will get this. You are correct. This is sine hyperbolic. Okay. So now we have minus this, and here also you do the same thing. You have a 2. This will be e to the power of beta h bar omega minus e to the power of minus beta h bar omega. And here also you can do the same thing. This will be e to the power of beta h bar omega plus e to the power of minus beta h bar omega by 2 minus 1 u square. Can you see this? Is this visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. So now this will be equal to m omega by pi square root, and you have e to the power of beta h bar omega. So that I will take common. So this will become e to the power of beta h bar omega by 2. Okay? And this will become 1 minus e to the power of minus 2 beta h bar omega to the power of minus half. Okay. So what I've done is I've taken this thing common. So this will become this factor. This will simplify to this. And similarly, you can play the same game there also in that exponential factor. That will become minus 2 m omega by h bar. And here also you can do it. You can take it out. This will become this e to the power of minus beta h bar omega into 1 minus 2 beta omega to the power of minus 1. So this is about for this factor, and then you will have this thing here. So here what we shall do is we'll take. So what we can do is you can just take this 2 common. So this 2 will cancel this 2. The 2 from here will cancel this 2. And what we can now do is e to the power of beta h bar omega. I am taking this common. So So this will be 1 plus e to the power of minus 2 beta h by omega. You can write it in this way, and minus 2 q square. Because I have taken the 2 common. Yes. Okay. So this is what we shall get. Now it is simple. You will realize why we are doing this. Let me tell you why we are doing this. Because you remember that if you take this thing and you try to, we have actually played this trick earlier. What we tried to do is we try to isolate the ground state, right? We isolated the ground state. So if you try to do that, to isolate the ground state, you remember that the result, so what we did was we took the beta tending to infinity limit. If we take the beta going to infinity limit, so this would isolate the ground state. And if we do that, if we try to play this game, then the propagator, we have actually done this calculation earlier, then the propagator basically simplifies to the following thing. You remember this expression? We had obtained this earlier. You remember this thing?
Yes, sir.
So if you write down the propagator and put QF, QI to be equal, you set QF equal to QI equal to Q. That is what we are doing now. And then you take beta going to infinity limit. Okay? Beta going to infinity limit means the temperature going to 0 limit. So that will isolate the ground state. So if you do that, if you look back to your earlier notes, then you shall find that the propagator basically simplifies to this thing, where you get this thing because you have neglected all the other terms which are smaller than this term. So this is the leading term that you will get, because the higher terms contains the energies of the excited states, and they appear on top in this exponential factor, and therefore those terms will be suppressed, will be smaller compared to this term. And this we mentioned many times earlier also. This was the technique to isolate the ground state by rotating the time axis, making a weak rotation. So rotating the real time axis means you go to the imaginary time, and you will get this. So our aim here also is to recast, is to rewrite, is to simplify the expression for the propagator in this form. And once you can rewrite it in this form, you can immediately read off what the ground state energy of the harmonic oscillator is and what is the ground state wave function. You can immediately do it.
Sir?
Yes.
So is it always necessary to be the ground state in the absolute zero temperature?
Sorry?
I am asking that is it necessary that the ground state will always be in the absolute zero temperature?
See, this is a good question, but when we did the harmonic oscillator, right? When you learned the quantum harmonic oscillator in the quantum mechanics course, did you assume that the harmonic oscillator is at a finite temperature? Was temperature playing any role in your investigation?
No, sir.
No. So what was the temperature, absolute temperature there?
Absolute zero.
So when we solved the quantum harmonic oscillator and we obtained the ground state energy and obtained the excited energies of the excited states, obtained the ground state wave function and all the wave functions, excited state wave function, we assume that the quantum harmonic oscillator is at temperature T is equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
Temperature was not playing any role. So here also we want to work out the thing. We assume that the harmonic oscillator is at T is equal to 0. the issue of the harmonic oscillator being at a finite temperature T is a completely different game altogether. Okay?
Okay.
Temperature, why is temperature important? If I ask you the question, why is temperature important? Can you tell me why the temperature is important? Why is it necessary to bring in the concept of temperature in a quantum harmonic oscillator? If I ask you this question, then what will be your answer?
To include the excited state. Because
that is what I'm precisely saying. That is what I'm precisely saying is that when we solve the quantum harmonic oscillator in the class, in the quantum mechanics 1 course, right?
Yes.
Do you assume that there is what is the energy? What is the expression for the energy eigenvalues? This,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you have similarly the expression for the energy eigenfunctions, which
Yes.
are basically some function into the Hermite polynomials. Is there any temperature here?
No, sir.
No. There is no expression for, means to get the excited state, you never worry about the temperature. You never worry about the temperature, but it is true that if you give a thermal excitation, then the electron in an atom, if you thermally excite this thing, then the electron may jump to an excited state. It is true. You can shine in radiation, electromagnetic radiation, and the atom, the ground state of this atom may absorb this radiation and the electron can get excited to a first excited state or so on, and then the atom will be in an excited state. So you have to shine in radiation. So there will be energy, right? If you shine in radiation, there will be energy. And energy, you can always find out that what is an equivalent temperature corresponding to that energy. For example, if you shine in energy h nu, the equivalent temperature corresponding to that energy will be equal to kBT. And then this is a rough estimate, you can estimate what the temperature will be. So temperature is coming into the game. But when you calculated it, there was no temperature. But why is the temperature important? Why is it, as I mentioned, physically, you have to excite the thing, you have to put in some thermal excitation or some radiation, and each of them will correspond to some temperature, equivalent temperature, right? But this is from physical consideration. But when we did the calculation, we did not assume everything is at temperature at T is equal to 0. This is not a finite temperature calculation. This is at T is equal to 0. But why is temperature T important? Temperature T is important. We have already realized that we have calculated the partition function of the quantum harmonic oscillator. So it is important to bring in the concept of temperature or bring in temperature into the game in order to investigate the thermodynamics of the quantum harmonic oscillator. If you ask the question that what will be the thermodynamic behavior of this quantum harmonic oscillator, then the temperature comes into the game. Okay?
Yes.
But here what we want to do is we don't want to go into the complications of a quantum harmonic oscillator at a finite temperature. We want to calculate the energy eigenvalues and the energy eigenfunctions of a quantum harmonic oscillator at T is equal to 0. And that is what we are doing. What I am showing you is I'm just showing you how you can extract the ground state energy and the ground state wave function. You can ask me, how can you get the expression for the excited state energies and the eigenfunctions for the excited states for the harmonic oscillator? That I leave it to you to investigate. Please find it out. But in the class, in this lecture, what we are trying to find out is trying to find out E naught and this thing. This is our goal. Okay? So what we are doing is we have written it down in this form, and you can expand this term in a binomial series. This, okay, this also you can take this outside e to the power of beta h bar omega, and then this will become q square, and this beta h bar omega will cancel this thing, so you will get something like this. And what you can do is you can expand this in a binomial series, and you can also multiply this full thing out, and ultimately when you take the beta infinity limit, which is equivalent to the limit that the temperature goes to 0, you will end up with the following expression. As you can see that all these terms, that extra terms that when you expand this in a binomial series, in the beta infinity limit you can get rid of those terms. You can neglect those terms, and this will therefore be minus beta h bar omega by 2. I will just keep this term, this is the leading term, and all other terms you can throw it out. Then you will have e to the power of minus m omega by h bar, and here also if you multiply this out, what you will get is you can throw these terms out, and you will here also this is e to the power of minus beta h bar omega. You can expand this, and if you do these expansions, what you will get is e to the power of minus m omega by h bar q square. You can throw all the terms out. Okay? So what I mean is that suppose I take this factor 1 minus e to the power of minus 2 beta h bar omega whole to the power of minus 1. This is equal to 1 plus e to the power of minus 2 beta h bar omega plus e to the power of minus 4 beta h bar omega plus blah, blah, blah. This term. Similarly, you expand this term and just multiply everything throughout. Then you will find that the leading term is just 1, and all other terms will be like this, e to the power of like this. So you can throw them out. Here also, if you expand it, you can throw all these exponential terms, just keep the leading term. And if you do that, ultimately you will get this thing. Okay? And now it is immediate. If you compare this expression with this, then E0 is h bar omega by 2. So this is the ground state energy. And from here you will get phi 0 q. Phi 0 of q will be m omega by phi to the power of 1/4 e to the power of minus m omega q square. Here, I think we have missed a factor of h bar. This factor of h bar will be there. You can actually put it over here. H bar will be there. So this is m omega by pi h bar, and you can do this thing. So here you will have a factor of h bar. H bar. You miss this factor. And therefore, this is, you know that this is the expression for the ground state wave function. Just by comparing this with this, you can read off what the ground state energy is and what the ground state wave function is. So what we have shown is that you can actually calculate the energy eigenvalues and the energy eigenfunctions of a system by calculating the propagator of that system. So this is the key point. So you calculate the propagator of the system using the path integral technique. You can do it. And once you get an expression for the propagator of the system, from there you can extract what the energy eigenvalues of the system are and what the energy eigenfunctions are. This is the key point of today's lecture. Do you have any questions at this point? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So just do this calculation once again and convince yourself that you indeed get these as the results. And what I mentioned is that you also try to find out what is the expression for the first expression for the energy eigenvalue of the first excited state and the first excited state energy eigenfunction. Can you find it out from the expression for the propagator? Also try this at home. So these are the two assignments that I give for you to do. And one more thing I will to mention is that for the post-MSc guys, I will not take an exam because it is not mandatory to take an exam in the mid-semester. But for the post-BSc guys, IPHD people, what I shall do is on 28th you don't have to appear for any examination. What I shall do is I shall give you an assignment sheet and I shall mail it to the IPHD Gmail that you have. I shall write the questions and give you an assignment, and you should complete the assignment. You should do the assignment and send it to me. So that will be sufficient for your mid-semester examination.
Sir, what will be the time limit for that assignment?
Infinite time. Okay? By infinite time, I mean to say that you take 2 days or 3 days, whatever.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if I send it to you on say 30th October or say 28th October, then by 30th October you take 2 days time and send it to me. Send it back to me.
Okay, sir.
Is it okay for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is just assignment. I will give you an assignment and you try to do that assignment. So if you have any questions at this point, you can just ask me. If you have anything to ask, you can ask me now. So we have completed the calculation of the propagator for the harmonic oscillator, and we have seen how to get the expressions for the energy eigenvalues and at least the ground state energy and the ground state wave function for the harmonic oscillator from the propagator. And I shall take one more lecture on path integral after the Puja holidays, and then I shall move to identical particles. I shall start doing identical particles. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So when will be the next class on path integrals that you just said?
Okay, next class on path integrals will be on 28th, I think. 28th was your examination day, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 28th is a Wednesday. So 28th I can take a class.
Okay, sir.
Because after the pujas it will be open, and so we can again start the classes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. So let's stop here today.
Yes.